From childhood, our lives are wrapped in cotton. Cotton comforts, clothes, cleans, protects. It's with us day and night, in work and in play. But where does it come from? This is the story of Australian cotton and the families who produce it. Australians like you and me who live, work and play in cotton and grow it too.
G'day, the name's Bud Burst, but you can call me Shirley. Oh, don't ask why. It's a long story, that one. Quick quiz, what have all these people got in common? Come on, you want to phone a friend? Time's up. They're all wearing cotton. In fact, from everyday clothes like these to the stuff that only gets worn by supermodels, cotton makes up about half the world's fabric. You people live in cotton from day one. What are you wearing now? I'll bet you anything you like there's cotton in your clothes, unless you're into just wearing plastic raincoats, which would be really, really weird.
Meet the Size family, cotton growers from Dalby in Queensland's Darling Downs. Scott and Joe and their two kids, Mitchell and Nicole, are typical of the families in rural Australia who grow the world's best cotton. 80% of Australian cotton farms are family enterprises.
Our family's been on the farm here since the early 30s. Mum and Dad are on the farm, and before them my grandparents are on the farm. We grow a variety of crops, not just cotton, but cotton's probably our main income. We also grow wheat, barley, sorghum, corn and chickpeas, and we run a piggery, so I suppose you can say we're helping to feed and clothe the world.
It's a big responsibility. So Scott spends the cotton season constantly caring and nurturing the crop to ensure it avoids the diseases and insects which love to devour cotton before it leaves the paddock. The Size family's roots in this community are deep, and they care deeply about its future.
We shop locally, we bank locally, the kids go to school here. We're part of the P&C, we're involved in local cricket and rugby. Our friends are here in most of our families too. We rely on the community and we're a part of it.
How long do you reckon farmers have grown cotton? 500 years? Since Columbus, maybe? Way off. People first grew cotton as a crop 5,000 years ago in Pakistan. Whoa, 5,000 years and still growing strong. Of course, once cotton fabric came onto the scene, that was the end of the plastic raincoat as the world's garment of choice. And not before time, too.
When a farmer plants a cotton seed, it takes 5 to 10 days for the plant to emerge. After less than a month, the first flower buds or squares are starting to appear. A delicate white flower opens, but within 24 hours it must be pollinated. If it is, the petals will turn pink before dropping off. But at the base of the flower, the fertilised seed pod or boll begins to develop. In a couple of months it is filled out almost to breaking point with seeds and the soft white fibre they come wrapped in. All of a sudden, the boll splits and there, drying in the sun, is cotton. Just a simple, natural cellulose fibre wrapped around about 35 seeds. To cotton farmers like Scott's Size, it sometimes seems like there's not a bug in the world that doesn't want to eat their precious plants. In Australia, there are at least 30 different insects that can cause damage, and not just minor damage. Without effective ways of protecting cotton from insects, weeds and disease, the world would produce nowhere near the cotton it needs. Pesticides are used in all sorts of farming, and with only one exception, the chemicals cotton growers use are used by other farmers as well to grow a host of food products like wheat, vegetables and fruit. But the cotton industry is discovering new ways to protect its crop. Biological controls, breeds of cotton that resist the pests, and methods of attracting beneficial insects like lady beetles that eat the bad ones. All this means chemical usage is on the way down. More than 50% of the research and development of Australia's cotton industry is spent on finding ways to reduce chemical use.
We don't like using chemicals, just as you don't like using fly spray around the house. But to produce a crop like this, we've got to control our pests. In the last couple of seasons, we've been using more natural occurring viruses and also beneficial insects. This helps us in a couple of ways. We've reduced our input costs and also minimises the impact on our environment. In the last couple of seasons, we've been able to reduce the chemical usage on the farm by up to 50%, which is in accordance with BMP or Best Management Practices.
BMP is the industry's Best Management Practices Initiative, a program which ensures that cotton farmers are using resources like water and land responsibly and efficiently for themselves and their workers, for the environment and for their communities. Cotton is a plant that loves it hot. The hotter it is, the more cotton it produces. And though it's from the hibiscus family, usually associated with tropical humid climates, cotton does best in dry heat. It's grown through summer, planted only when soil temperature rises above 14 degrees Celsius. From the moment it germinates from the seed, even before it sticks its head above ground, a cotton crop requires constant nurturing. Cotton farmers must ensure that root and leaf disease, weeds and insects are kept at bay, and that the plants have sufficient water to ensure the crop develops high-quality cotton. And if they're successful, after 6 months of care and hard work, cotton, lots of it. The world's most worn fibre, as natural today as it was 5,000 years ago.
Again. You know, cotton used to be picked by hand, and in some parts of the world it still is. Hard work, that. But here in Australia, it's done using big machines. This huge brick is called a module. It's the size of a small house and weighs 13,000 kilograms. Know how many t-shirts that'd make? About 70,000. With that many t-shirts, you could wear a different one every day for nearly 200 years. You'd need undies and jeans and other stuff too, but 200 years worth of t-shirts wouldn't be a bad start. When it leaves the farm, cotton has seeds all through it, but no one wants a seedy t-shirt, am I right? So you've got to get those seeds out of there.
Separating the seeds from the cotton fibre, or lint, happens at a place called the gin, which is a short form of the word engine. Even though it takes up most of the space and gets most of the glory, the lint is only about 35% by weight of the cotton harvest. The seeds are high in oil and are a valuable raw material for a host of vegetable oil products and cosmetics, as well as stock feed. The cotton lint goes from the gin in bales to be processed, mostly overseas, but a small proportion is processed in Australia. Cotton which is to become fabric gets combed to make the fibres run parallel, then drawn out into thin strands before spinning into yarn. It's then ready to be woven or knitted into fabric. Australia produces just 5% of the world's cotton, and practically all Australian cotton comes from inland New South Wales and Queensland. There are also trial areas of cotton near Katherine in the Northern Territory and on the Ord River up in Western Australia. But cotton is grown in more than 90 countries around the world, most of them developing nations. 80% of the world's cotton is grown in China, USA, India, Uzbekistan and Pakistan. Although Australia's cotton production is small, it is the third largest exporting nation, behind the USA and Uzbekistan, because Australia exports more than 90% of its cotton. That makes it our fourth biggest agricultural export commodity.
You know what's weird? Even though hardly any Australian cotton stays in the country, Australians use more cotton per person than anyone else. Why? Because in Australia's climate, the cool properties of cotton are just ideal.
Though the beginnings of cotton in Australia were with the first fleet, the modern Australian cotton industry had its genesis in the 1960s in northern New South Wales. The industry is now a vital part of rural communities from Emerald in central Queensland, through the Darling Downs and southwestern Queensland, through towns like Gunnedah, Moree, Narrabri, Wee Waa, Warren and Bourke in central and northwest New South Wales. Today, towns like these are thriving, defying the declining trend of services in the bush. And it's in large part because of the income and economic activity generated by their cotton industry. So the Australian cotton story is the story of the Australian families who grow it, the Australian rural communities where employment and services are sustained by it, and the people, every one of us, who wear it almost every single moment of every day. Australian cotton, good for this country, loved by the world.